Imagine throwing together a startup in just 8 chaotic weeks, watching it explode into an absolute world-dominating force, and then being systematically forced out of the very app you built. Today, we're unpacking the epic, untold story of Instagram's incredible rise and its ultimate billion-dollar ruin. Let's get right into this explainer. I want you to think about this number for a second. $1 billion. That's the astronomical amount paid for an app that was barely 18 months old. It had just a tiny handful of employees, all crammed into this one small room, and absolutely zero revenue. I mean, not a single dime of profit. It's wild, but this one transaction set the stage for one of the absolute craziest stories in the tech world. Part 1, the failed app called Bourbon. So our story starts with Kevin Systrom. After actually turning down early job offers from Mark Zuckerberg and Twitter, Kevin decided to build his own app. He called it Bourbon. But here's the thing. Bourbon was like this cluttered, super confusing Swiss Army knife of location check-ins and virtual prizes. Honestly, it was a mess. Contrast that with what it eventually became, Instagram. A perfectly sharp, single-purpose scalpel, totally focused on clean, beautiful photo sharing. But before that brilliant pivot actually happened, something pretty crazy went down. Despite Bourbon being a confusing mess with barely 100 users, Silicon Valley investors blindly threw $500,000 at it. It sounds ridiculous, right? But this was an era where investors were basically throwing money at new tech, just knowing that if even one app hit it big, it would pay for all the failures. So suddenly, Kevin had the cash, and he brought on a co-founder, Mike Krieger, to help figure out what on earth to do next. Part 2, the perfect photo pivot. Kevin and Mike realized their 100 users really only cared about one thing, sharing photos. But the problem was, how do you make mobile photos actually look good? Well, when Kevin showed an early prototype to his girlfriend, she was pretty skeptical. She told him she probably wouldn't use it because honestly, her photos just didn't look as good as her friend's photos. Her casual passing advice? Oh, you should add filters to your app. That one single comment literally changed tech history. Using his Photoshop skills, Kevin spent the next 8 frantic weeks inventing the platform's defining feature, built-in filters that transformed everyday, grainy mobile photos into professional-looking art. The resulting viral growth was just unprecedented. They launched Instagram on October 6th, 2010. By the end of day 1, 25,000 people had signed up. Within a single month, they crossed 1 million users. While most apps grind for years and years to hit those numbers, Instagram caught on so violently fast that Kevin and Mike were constantly stressed out, literally working out of a tiny room while their servers repeatedly crashed under the massive weight of all these new users. So how did they pull this off? It really boiled down to 3 strategic steps. First, Instagram made it totally effortless to share these newly filtered photos directly to Facebook and Twitter, which naturally pulled more people in. Second, their timing was absolutely flawless. The iPhone 4 had just launched with a vastly improved camera, making it the perfect mobile-first tool. And third, Kevin actively courted top designers and popular photographers to join early, setting this highly artistic, premium tone for the app. The sheer chaos of it all peaked when celebrities like Justin Bieber started joining. I'm not kidding, every single time he posted, a flood of fans would literally break their servers. Part 3, the billion-dollar buyout. Right as Twitter was basically wining and dining Kevin to try and buy the app, Mark Zuckerberg swooped in, bypassed everyone else, and made an offer they just couldn't refuse, $1 billion. Now, back in 2012, people thought Zuckerberg was absolutely crazy for paying that much for a startup with a zero business model and zero revenue. But look at it, by 2019, Instagram was generating over $24 billion in a single year, making up 30% of Facebook's total revenue. It was a massive bargain, and arguably one of the greatest acquisitions and maybe one of the most glaring regulatory failures in tech history. But here's the kicker. Kevin didn't just sell for the cash. He accepted the buyout because Zuckerberg made a very specific, absolutely crucial promise: total independence. Zuckerberg promised that Instagram would remain a separate entity, completely free from Facebook's corporate interference. Kevin would still run the show. And for a while, that promise was kept and the team celebrated. But as we'll see, it wouldn't last forever. Part 4, the toxic highlight reel. As Instagram scaled up under Facebook's massive infrastructure, the app began to mutate. Behind those billions of dollars in revenue, there was a hidden dark cost. In 2021, leaked internal documents obtained by the Wall Street Journal proved the company knew exactly how much psychological damage their platform was causing.
Their own internal research stated point blank that the app was toxic to a sizable percent of users, explicitly noting that it made body image issues worse for 1 in 3 teen girls. They had the data right in front of them, but they kept it totally concealed. And these internal numbers translated into devastating real-world consequences. That same internal research found 13% of British teenagers with suicidal thoughts traced those thoughts directly back to using the app. The platform had basically birthed an entirely new culture of comparison anxiety, fueling the massive rise of apps like Facetune, where people constantly altered their bodies to meet impossible digital standards. Between 2011 and 2017, a study found 259 deaths globally from people attempting dangerous selfies just to go viral. And in the physical world, natural tourist sites were literally being trampled and destroyed by thousands of people lining up for a single identical pose. This represents a profound cultural shift. Instagram had completely morphed into a highly curated highlight reel. People began living their lives purely for the digital aesthetic, totally losing touch with the present moment. Think about it. The experience of traveling or going to a party or just seeing nature was no longer the goal. The goal was the photo. It became this mindset of, if it wasn't on Instagram, it didn't even happen.
Part 5. The ultimate founder betrayal. So while the app was fundamentally changing society on the outside, a very different turmoil was brewing in the corporate boardroom. Kevin wanted a curated aesthetic, vetted luxury ads, and an independent platform. Mark Zuckerberg, on the other hand, wanted aggressive monetization. A former employee described the dynamic perfectly. Zuckerberg started treating Instagram like a little sister he wanted to dress up for the party, but he absolutely didn't want her looking prettier than Facebook. So Zuckerberg forced Facebook's massive, unvetted ad system onto Instagram. He demanded intrusive push notifications to drive engagement, completely ignoring Kevin's arguments that it would just ruin the user experience. But it wasn't just about ads. Zuckerberg actively began to view Instagram as a threat to his main pride and joy, Facebook. Fearing that Instagram was cannibalizing Facebook's growth, he made a series of subtle, intentional moves to throttle the app. He removed the navigation link inside the Facebook app that sent users to Instagram. He forced Instagram to add a prominent link sending users back to Facebook. And most drastically, he capped the Instagram team's growth at just 8% for the year, which is far, far less than a platform of that massive size desperately needed just to function.
The promise of total independence was completely shattered. After years of pushback, exhausting arguments, and just watching his beloved creation get stripped of its autonomy, Kevin took a vacation. Then he extended it. And then he extended it again. When he finally returned, he and his co-founder, Mike Krieger, sent absolute shockwaves through the tech world. They resigned. They walked away from their billion-dollar baby. And without the founders there to push back, the app was quickly rebranded to Instagram from Facebook, and the floodgates for aggressive ads and algorithms were thrown wide open.
A brilliant pivot turned a clunky app into a billion-dollar empire, only for the pursuit of limitless growth to completely transform our culture and push away the very people who built it. But you know what the ultimate irony is here? Kevin Systrom, the man who invented the Instagram filter, hasn't posted a photo in hundreds of weeks.